No to funziona Dominikovi.
No, there are.
A very good afternoon to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Distinguished chairperson of the CRC committee, distinguished members of the CRC and CRPD committees, colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, our sincere appreciation for all of you to have made time to attend this event. This afternoon, we are going to discuss about participation of children and young people with disabilities. The title of the event is Our Journey from Exclusion to Inclusion. As a part of the discussions and presentations, we'll be talking about an initiative to promote participation of children and young people with intellectual disabilities, jointly undertaken by Inclusion Europe, Eurochild, CEDAR Foundation, QUIP, Down Syndrome Foundation, Madrid, in collaboration with Lumos and supported by the European Commission. The International Disability Alliance and UNICEF is also pleased to co-sponsor this event. Boys and girls with intellectual disabilities living in large institutions, small group homes, and with their families have taken part in this project, and through individual and collective participation has demonstrated that how opportunities and the right support and assistance enable them to change their own lives, as well as the environment, the society around them. Participation is fundamental to the CRC and the CRPD. It's one of the central tenets of both the conventions, and respect for children to participate actively in issues concerning their own lives cannot be overstressed. However, the voices of children with disabilities remain largely unheard and are invisible in critical decisions of their lives. Issues about their health, where they study, and where they live. The conventions have recognized this failure and have obligated the governments to do more. Article 7 of the CRPD obliges the governments to take active steps to promote the participation of children and young people with disabilities. And not only that, it urges the government, and it's very important, to make available appropriate disability and age-appropriate support that is required by children and young people with disabilities to participate effectively. At UNICEF, participation is an extremely important issue for us, and through our work in different countries, we have been trying to ensure and enhance participation of children, boys and girls and young people with disabilities. Without further ado, I will now turn over to the presenters. We have 3 presenters who will present to us today about themselves and about the young people they work with. I'd just like to draw your attention. The presentations are sequenced in a way to bring out the realities of more segregated situations to more inclusive situations. That's how they are sequenced. The presenters will be using a variety of medium to get across their views. They'll be using videos which were prepared as a part of the initiative they were involved in. And colleagues will try and give audio description of the videos for those of us who are not able to enjoy the images. They will be speaking in their own languages, the presenters, and the translators will be translating for us. And also on Channel 2, we have English, and in Channel 4, Spanish translation available. With this, I now hand over the floor to Dominik from the Czech Republic, who will share with us experiences of his life and also talk about his friend Matthias, who is presently living in an institution. The floor is yours, Dominik, and I look forward to hearing to you.
Dobrý den.
Good morning.
Jmenuji se Dominik Hlaváč, je mi 16 let a přijíždím z rodného města Štenberg v České republice.
Good afternoon. My name is Dominik Hlaváč. I'm coming from Štenberg, which is in the Czech Republic.
Mluví se mi lépe, když mám vše předem připravené, a proto jsem si to napsal na kartičky.
I speak better when I'm prepared, so I wrote all what I want to say on cards.
Přijel jsem mezi vás, aby se s vámi podělil o svůj příběh, ve kterém je slyšet hlas mladého.
This is me.
Na jaře letošního roku se pro mě lidí, kteří jsou pro mě nejdůležitější, a ty jsem si pozval.
I choose people who are the most important to me and I invited them.
Povídali jsme si o mém životě, jaký ho mám teď a jaký bych ho chtěl a mohl mít v budoucnu. Tohle je můj plán, moje mapa. Na svých USBčkách ji můžete mi najít přeloženou do angličtiny.
We were discussing my life, how is it now and how it could be in the future. And this is my plan, the plan of my life behind us. You can see also English translation in your USB keys, in your USB keys.
Nejlepší na mapě je, že jsou na ní napsané věci, které jsem říkal já, a potom tomu postupně přibývaly informace o mých blízkých. Část věcí se už začala dít.
The most important on the map is that there are things which I said, and then later other people was also add other issues which are important to me. And some of these things are happening now.
Třeba důležité pro mě je bojovat za práva dětí s takzvaným postižením, jejich rodiny a prosazovat změny ve společnosti.
For example, what is important to me, it is fight for rights of children with so-called disability and their families, and assert changes in the society.
zúčastnit se semináře. Už v červnu tohoto roku jsem měl možnost zúčastnit se semináře v parlamentu České republiky v hlavním městě v Praze.
During last June, I had possibility to participate in the seminar at the National Parliament of the Czech Republic at Prague.
Mluvili jsme na téma koordinátor podpory na obcích. Myslím, že to je velmi důležité a mohlo by to rodinám dětí se znevýhodněním hodně pomoci.
We were discussing the topic of care coordinating on the municipality level, and I believe that this could help to families of children with disabilities a lot.
Chtěl bych, aby maminky dětí s takzvaným postižením měly od státu dostatek peněz, aby mohli chodit dále do práce a zároveň jejich dítě mělo podporu, kterou potřebuje.
I would like families of children with so-called disability had enough support from the state so they could work and at the same time to take care about the children with disability.
V České republice je hodně dětí s takzvaným postižením, které neměly to štěstí jako já na skvělou rodinu, která jim pomáhá a podporuje je. Velká část z nich žije v ústavech.
There is a lot of children with disability in the Czech Republic who were not so lucky as me, and they have no loving families, and they live in the institution.
Jedním z těchto dětí je Matyáš. Aby i jeho hlas byl slyšen jako ten můj, potřebuje pomoc s komunikací.
One of such boys is Matthias, and this boy needs help so his voice could be heard, the help with communication. And I would like to add to this movie, the short video, then in the first part you will see Matthew, a 13 years old boy in different environments in the institution, in the school. How is he playing with other children in the school, and how is he assisted by his assistant.
Já jsem Matyáš.
Hi, I'm Matthew and I'm 13 years old.
To, co slyšíte, není můj hlas, který já slova nepoužívám. Kdybych mohl, tak by takhle možná můj hlas měl. Já a dalších 60 lidí žijeme v jednom ústavu. Já jsem tady
with another 60 people in an institution, but I'm the only one boy here, one child. I love to be among other children. My assistant Aneta helps me when I'm in the school. Physical contact with others and my sound toys are very important to me. You can see Matthew how is he playing with children and with toys. I use for talking my behavior, and I have a video dictionary so that all could understand the same, and this is my video dictionary. When Matthew wants to say that he would like to eat or drink, he stretches his hand for a spoon or a cup or for a food, so it's clear that he wants to eat or he wants to drink. When he is happy, he's smiling with sparkling eyes and swinging his body from left to right very quickly. You can see him in different forms of being happy. Playing with a toy. When I'm angry, when Matthew is angry, he fixates his eyes on one place and curls his face and the whole body, and he throws up his hands. You can see different positions, different forms of being angry of Matthew. When he is bored, he's also fixing his eyes to one place and he's sucking his finger. You can see different forms of being bored and not interested. Things which are when we don't want to give something to other person who is stretching hands to take the toy, he tightly holds the toy. And when he don't want to do what other people want to, he curls his face and he throw out things. And when he would like to say goodbye, it could be, for example, like this. He's lying on the floor and looking around him. And this is the piece of our work in frame of Hear Our Voices project. I would like to add also to that video that it was prepared for the working purposes with Matthew, because in the institution where he is living, his behavior is viewed and interpreted as bad behavior or misbehavior. And this is not true, because this is a form of his communication, because he couldn't use words. So my colleague Rafa, together with Matthew's assistant in the school, they prepare this video and they would like to use it for talking and discussing with staff of the institution, so they could reframe their view of Matthew's behavior.
Dominic, thank you so very much for sharing your experience as well as telling us about your friend Matthias. It was really fascinating to know about, to hear about your experience, and particularly your participation in the seminar in the National Parliament. It's extremely important that policies, legislations, programs for children with disabilities are informed and shaped by them, and all children can form views. The second point is the importance of recognizing that there are often non-verbal forms of expressions, hand signals, facial expressions, drawings, play, games, through which children and young people with disabilities express their views. And if you do not recognize them, if you do not consider them, we often fail to understand. And you could see how Matthias was frustrated. And that again consequently leads to labeling of children with disabilities. Thank you so much. I now give the floor to Stanislava, Stani we call her, from Bulgaria. And the floor is yours, and we look forward to hearing to you.
Yes, Tani.
Bibi, Stani's support person, is asking her to introduce herself. She said, "My name is Stani."
Какво искаш да ни покажеш?
Video.
Bibi is asking her what she wants to show us. She says, "A video." Yet it was not easy to get where I am now. Stani is writing her name with spray paint on the ground. If you want me to tell you my story, you've got to really want to hear me. I may not always say the right words. I may not always understand your question. Sometimes you may need pictures so that I understand what you will be telling me. Rather than do things Stani is showing pictures of where she used to live, her house now, her school, favorite activities, and close people. When I do not know something, you will prompt me. Sometimes you may need to get the pencil and show me. Other times you may need just to be there for me to feel your presence. Yet bit by bit we'll draw the whole house. It will be my story, my future living from the other side of the curtain. Stani is drawing her house. This is much more secure and much better. Stani is participating in circle time, a daily activity for all the 8 children in the small group home where she lives, where they put together pictures on a whiteboard about how they feel and what they choose to do during the day. Much more mine, for I'm part of my own life. Stani puts the last picture on the whiteboard after explaining with joy. Different pictures of Stani are being shown. Including the picture with her sister, they live together in the small group home. As well as pictures of Stani editing this video. Bibi is asking Stani how old she is. She's saying 17.
Къде живееше преди?
Bibi is asking her where she used to live. Stani says Koznica. This is the name of the institution she used to live in. The institution was closed in 2010 by the Cedar Foundation.
Какво обичаш да... къде живееш сега?
Горе къде?
She's asking her where she lives now. Stani says up in the houses. These are the small group homes in a town in Bulgaria. They are in a residential area.
Какво обичаш да правиш?
Кайко яте топка.
Bibi is asking her what she likes doing. And she's saying that she likes to ride her bicycle, take care of animals, and play football.
Какво правим всички сутрин?
Кимки.
Bibi is asking her what they do every morning. She says the pictures. This is the circle time that you saw in the end of the video. This daily activity of all the children in the small group homes where they make decisions together.
Какво са снимките?
Копа, кот, котет.
И? Кой къде ходи?
Койори, кот, бучите, котеито, котето, като.
Bibi is asking her what exactly the pictures are. Stani says that they decide who is on. They say who is working in the small group homes this day, which of the children are going to school, which are going to a day center.
Котихи.
They're all. Bibi is asking what else do you decide together, and Stani is saying who will do the cleaning. They also decide who will go to the store to buy bread and milk.
А какво правим след снимките?
Вечерята.
Какво с вечерята?
She's asking her what they do after the pictures, the circle time, and Stani is saying the dinner. And then when she asked her what about the dinner, and Stani said that they choose it.
Какво Ходиш ли на училище?
Да.
Де?
О, учить.
She's asking her whether she goes to school, and she says yes. When Bibi asked her where, Stani said the new school. This is a high school because she's older.
И какво учиш там?
Учи, пише ката.
Друго?
Писили.
She's asking her what she's learning there, and Stani said that she's learning how to write on the board, and then she said machines, meaning the sewing machine that they have there because it's a professional high school, and she's learning how to sew. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Danny, for sharing your views, your life, your daily activities, the decisions that you take, small but important ones, and you value them so much. And yesterday, when I asked you what do you like the most about that, is you said you have friends around you, and that's so important. We are running a little late, so I'll go straight to our third set of speakers. We have Leo and Yo-Yo from Spain who will be sharing with us now. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon. We're Leo and Yo-Yo. Firstly, we would like to show you a video about what we usually do in Madrid Foundation.
Moving forward in our journey from exclusion to inclusion, to promote participation of young persons,
don't lose my
to a step-by-step
Take it easy,
project.
don't
We design and develop different types of
keep my
actions.
mind out of those
First
kinky
step.
ways. I keep the
Group of young
light in
people
this
with
strange
and without disabilities meet and think of new ideas on how to promote inclusion of persons with intellectual disabilities. The video shows the inclusive group of young persons, members of the step-by-step project. We talk, we laugh, we work, and we have fun together. We are seeing some of the testimonies of the persons with intellectual disabilities within the group. They say, although we are disabled, there's nothing wrong with it. Things are harder, we need help, but that's it. Others focus on the many things they can do. Bowling, very popular. And basically teamwork. That's how we cope with it. The second step involves setting up an action plan. And this is what the video shows, some of the group activities. We meet, we discuss what we want to do. And we turn our words into action. The third step. The video shows pictures of workshops, inclusive cooking, training on the rights of people with disabilities, inclusive sports day, a race called Walk on Wheels, in which more than 200 children and their families and many volunteers had a lot of fun together. Now, a picture of our creative art and writing contest, and many other materials to promote inclusion. So we make our skills and abilities known to others. And there's a picture now of the first edition of the Step-by-Step Awards, in which many schools from Madrid participated also, inclusive schools. And we evaluate and discuss our work and move forward to develop new ideas. Now you're watching the testimony of 3 young people. Basically, they say they want to show that persons with Down syndrome or any other disability are very similar to us and can even be better at certain things. And with the help of everybody, we can achieve our goal of helping people understand that having a disability doesn't make a person worse, just different. And we rely on you. Do it by yourself is our lemma.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon. It is very important for us to be able to present the group Paso a Paso, which is a place where so many important decisions are taken. Leo and I have come to talk to you about the project Paso a Paso, which is part of the project here at Voices. It was established in Spain, and we carry out work with a group of young people that are volunteers from down Madrid. The program Inclusion Paso a Paso down Madrid has as an objective to promote the full inclusion of people living with intellectual disabilities. To do this, many different activities are carried out of awareness raising, counseling, and training in the educational centers. All these activities foster educational, labor, and social inclusion of these people. The group Paso a Paso, which belongs to this program, is made up of 20 young people that live with and without disabilities. Right now we are celebrating our first year anniversary. Throughout the year we have met on a monthly basis to be able to brainstorm ideas about how to foster inclusion. And this was always done from our point of view, the point of view of young people. The aim is for people that are studying in regular schools become the ambassadors of integration of people living with disabilities, and this in all spheres and in all situations. Amongst the activities which we have carried out throughout this year, we would like to highlight the following. Some of these examples are setting up of an inclusive cooking workshop. We also had 20 dynamic and inclusive talks in school centers that were targeted at different groups of the educational community. We also organized the first contest called Inclusion Paso a Paso, which in English is step by step, amongst some regular schools. We have also set up many different sports days that were attended by students from the Center Carmen Fernandez Miranda, as well as other regular educational institutions. Another activity which we undertook was to film 2 videos with the aim of raising awareness that would be sent to educational centers as well as businesses. We were also able to organize the Festival for Inclusion. Many young people from different schools in Madrid participated in this festival. We organized this festival, which will take place in October. It will take place in October. We also participated in international days on the rights of young people and adolescents and children. In the group Paso a Paso, we are working to promote the inclusion of children and adolescents living with intellectual disabilities. We are convinced that the young people that are attending regular schools will be the friends, colleagues at work of people living with intellectual disabilities in the future. This is why we believe that it is absolutely essential to raise awareness so that everybody can be able to be prepared towards a life of inclusion. We are aware of the fact that we are now starting to plant the seeds, and today's event is only one demonstration of the first fruits of this labor. On behalf of all of our colleagues, we would like to thank you very much for having been part of our first harvest. Thank you very much.
thank you so much, Leo and Yo-Yo, for sharing about your activities and also stressing on the fact that young people, boys and girls with intellectual disabilities, are first and foremost young people, and also on the importance of inclusion. If you cook together, you are more likely to understand each other much better when you share an office space together in a workplace. We are running a little behind time, so I would like to throw the floor open for questions for the panelists, and I would request the translators and supporters to paraphrase it to suit the context of our presenters. But the floor is now open. Anyone? Anaphylized, yes, please.
I would like to start off by congratulating the organizers of this event. I would like to thank you for having brought to the United Nations the voices of young people that are living with intellectual disabilities. We are now hearing your voices, and some of these voices are almost never heard. I believe that today's event should convince, and I'm sure that most of us are convinced, that we cannot work, we cannot take any decision at all about children, people living with disabilities, without listening to them. And this is independent of whatever type of disability they have. Today we are working, and the Committee on the Rights of People with Disabilities, the CRPD, is working to see, and I am one of the members of the committee, we are trying to see what are the most pertinent issues that is of concern to my committee, the CRPD committee, when it comes to young boys and young girls. With your permission, I would like to share something with you, and we will talk about it later on in the committee session. At the outset, I think that it is obvious that there is a tremendous inequality that exists between the rights of children living with disabilities compared to their equals, which are children living without such disabilities. This is the main concern that we all have to take into consideration. Those who are working on the rights of children have to take this into consideration. The rights of children are the rights of all children. Secondly, the Committee on the Rights of People Living with Disabilities, we are extremely concerned with abandonment as well as institutionalization of children living with disabilities in many different parts of the world. Whether it is a rich area, a rural area, an urban area, there is abandonment and there is institutionalization. Sometimes this is justified by the fact that families often think that this is the only way to be able to take the best care possible of their boys and girls. In our committee, we have also been faced with great preoccupation on the non-protection against violence and abuse. Many children living with disabilities suffer from these types of violence, especially children living with psychosocial disabilities. We have seen this in the video. There are children that cannot communicate, and they're trying to find alternative ways to communicate. Sometimes these, and often in fact, these ways of communicating are seen as being disruptive. boys and girls living with disabilities, especially intellectual disabilities, or, for example, deaf-blind children, are much more exposed to suffering and abuse, is even committed by their relatives or in the institutions where they live. The following topic that is of great interest to the committee are forced treatment. Children are not consulted when there is forced treatment. Sometimes they are tied up in a place because they want to be able to fix their spinal column or to be able to get them to speak. In any case, these children are not being consulted. We need to work on the guarantee that they are able to provide their consent and opinion. This is really where our main concern of the committee lies. Even the organizations working in the field of disabilities are not reporting adequately in this field. Childhood organizations don't report as adequately as they should. And sometimes when they do present information, this is only a type of reality that we can kind of understand, but we don't really know very well. We would also like to end this statement by saying that segregation is cruel. In this way, we cannot bring these children to diversity and to our culture that we all share. Congratulations once again for having been here and having come here, and thank you once again for the support that you have provided us and to be able to communicate well. Thank you.
Ms. Kirsten-Sandberg, you have the floor, please.
Thank you. I would like to say that I'm delighted, very happy to be here and to listen to you today. In the Committee on the Rights of the Child, we always talk about the importance of hearing children and having the views of children and all children, and including children with different kinds of disabilities. But it's not so often that we actually meet children with disabilities and intellectual disabilities in particular. So I think it's been so useful and interesting for us to hear what you have said about your lives and about your situation. It gives an insight which is really invaluable to us. I would also like to comment on the last project that Leo and Yo-Yo talked about, because I've never heard about that kind of project. I think it is one of the most important things that can be done to make other children understand the situation and of children with intellectual disabilities, and to make friends, as you said, and to become future colleagues. Because otherwise we can talk about inclusion as much as we like, but it's not going to happen unless you bring children together in a natural way and make do activities together. So thank you, all of you, for your presentations.
Thank you so much, Kirsten Sandberg, for your very thoughtful comments and very relevant ones. Yes, I would like to give the floor to one of the participants, to Leo, to just respond to your comment. Yo-Yo.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon. I would like to express how important this project is for me, for me and for us and the people that are involved in this project. Since I was a child, I have been in an integrated school, and I have been living with people living with disabilities. Someone told me about the project, and I thought that it was a very good idea. It's very fulfilling, and it helps us a lot in our personal lives. We undertake many different activities, isn't that right? And we really have a great time. It shows you that people living with disabilities are people just like anybody else. just like any other friend. They are not any different. Lea, would you like to say anything? As Yo-Yo mentioned this, he is on my left. We are involved in this project with the group Paso a Paso. I really miss them, and I really love to be with them. They really give me a lot of strength. I wish they were here with me today. Some people that I know I help us. I miss my friends from this group. They give us a lot of love and attention and strength. When we are in the group, it really provides us with a lot of energy. And thank you very much to Yo-Yo. He really deserves applause.
Thank you so much. And Ms. Edda Miner, you, of the CRPD committee, you have the floor, please.
Microphone for the speaker, please.
Yes, I would like to say I'm really impressed by what you're doing. I think it just confirms that what I have been saying for the last 15 years is actually possible. It's possible to have people with intellectual and mental disabilities live in their families. It's important to go beyond where we are and target the service providers so that they can begin to understand that services of people with intellectual disability cannot only be provided for when they are institutionalized. It's possible to provide these services whether they are so much at a routine basis or not, but while these people are living with their families. It is their choices to live with their families. They should be heard. It's good to see information being augmented and ensuring that it is their voices that are being heard and not substituted. And there is no other way to say it other than congratulations, and please move on the way you're going. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comment. And it really reinforces the points that were made during the presentation. Mr. Kim of the CRPD committee, you have the floor, please.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to thank you all the participants, the young people. I want to share 3 voices from Korean children. They are not here, but I can indirectly share with you. When we talk about the children with disabilities, it's always interface with institutions or schools, community. Very seldom we hear about interface with family. I was approached by one girl asking me, Mr. Kim, when you see my mom and dad, please tell them I'd like to stay with the guests when they visit us. Please ask them, don't tell me to hide away while visitors are here, because I want to share cutting the cake and have a cup of coffee. I was approached by another girl, and she asked me, could you tell my parents that I want to grow long hair? They also cut my hair short, perm my hair, and I'd like to have a long hair so I can comb my hair every day. I'm really talking about abuse within the family rather than by outsiders. And another girl came around asking me, could you tell my parents that I'd like to wear a lovely skirt rather than forcing me to wear jeans all the time? I'm a girl. I'm sure we can make a lot of, thinking around these stories about self-determination, choice, etc. But I just want to share that children can talk. Really very important messages there. But people close to the children are not hearing to them. You see? And I thought it's useful to share the story from Korean children that I once heard. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kim. Extremely relevant and real points.